There we go. All right, we're on. All right, welcome back to the Shop Class Podcast. We got a special broadcast from the famous EV West. I'm here with an EVLC t-shirt. This is Electric Vehicle Learning Center. It's right next door. Tonight we're going to have Mark. He's not here yet, but he's going to give us a tour of this vehicle right here. And it's all electric. It's got batteries. There's Mark right there walking through. But we're going to join in. There's actually a tour going on right now.
Kids might have fun with like having one that lights up and stuff like that.
So basically what they do is they take gas cars and they turn them into electric. This is one of the cars that we're going. Oh, there you go. What's up, Mark?
Good evening, folks.
Okay, so we're gonna get an in-depth tour. There's just another tour going on. It's a very busy place, and I had some technical difficulties, but we're all here now, so we can join the tour. And actually, these people are actually buying parts so they can actually teach it at a school in California. Just happened to be that was like just by chance. So you're gonna teach this in a school?
Well, yeah. Are you filming me?
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna be careful what I say. Yeah, we've got. We do like this. So we've got a whole group of kids. We've got some amazing teachers and some support staff, and we are going to put this together, and it's going to be amazing. We've do as similar as we can. We got a Chevy C10.
Oh yeah.
We're going to rip apart, and the kids are going to document it, and the kids are going to put it together, and we're going to try to make sure that none of them get fried.
Nice. Well, no, you want to at least kill one kid.
No, not kill, but they got to learn the limits of what.
Got to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
No. So I've done this with schools and whatnot. So we should talk, man.
All right, we got it.
So basically, you got your stock transmission down here. It's a transaxle, and then you have your adapter plate. Then there's a coupler in the middle. That's how you connect this drive shaft to the to stock transmission drive shaft. And then you have an adapter plate that hooks it up to here. Then from here, you're going from, this is the DC. So these are DC wires that come from the batteries.
Okay.
Then these are AC coming off the inverter, and that goes to the AC motor.
Sweet. Hey,
Yeah.
that's the motor we got.
Yeah,
Number
there you
9,
go.
baby.
Yeah. So let me show you who's on the call.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to wave like this because I'm Paul.
No, it's okay. Hold on. Let's switch this, okay? So, oops. So Damien's in Australia. So if you want to know about stocks, you just ask him because it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay. Or baseball or something. And then Nick is in upstate New York.
Okay.
State. And he's a shop teacher as well. Both of them shop teachers. Bob Kelly, where you live again? I forgot.
I live just north of Chicago in a town called Buffalo Grove.
And what he does is building science. So not just for cars, we do energy efficiency and new ideas, but for buildings, you got to control energy and you got to control moisture and ventilation.
Yep.
And so he has solutions for old buildings that are falling apart.
Sweet.
It's pretty cool. It's called Wickrite.
Wickrite.
Yeah, I'll show you the whole thing. We interviewed him. He's a great dude. And then we got Mark Willie. He doesn't have his camera on.
Yeah, but he's Chicago too.
That's right. How'd you know that?
He's got the Chicago flag, baby.
Oh, hell yeah!
I'm from Michigan. I know that Illinois is not as good as Michigan, but I can appreciate it.
Yeah, Michigan's pretty good. I like Michigan.
Depends on where you go.
Where are you from, Michigan?
My parents now live in Zeeland, Holland on the west side.
Okay.
But my dad was in agribusiness, so we traveled around quite a bit when we were growing up because he would run grain elevators, and so quite a bit. So Shepherd and outside Lansing and Charlotte and Battle Creek and kind of everywhere in between. Lived in Nebraska for a little bit too, and then met a girl and been in California for 25 years.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
You ever heard of Dowagiac, Michigan?
No.
What do you say?
Dowagiac, Michigan.
Mm-mm.
That's where I go. Yeah, it's
Okay.
right near Niles or Decatur.
Okay.
Kalamazoo, Cassopolis,
Oh
whatever.
yeah. Kalamazoo.
South- Yep. Yeah, Southwest Michigan. I love the lakes. Love the lakes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
Nice. So you're here to pick up parts. You already bought
Yeah,
them?
yeah. So we got all the parts to be able to do the kit, and so we're converting a C10, 1978 C10. We're putting the Hyper 9 in there and 7 Tesla batteries.
Okay, someone's trying to call me on Instagram, but I can't pick up right now. Pretty cool. All right. Well, so you're just getting the lowdown. So we're doing a crash course on this
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
27th.
Well, yeah, I'm trying to. Oh, okay.
You should come
I
back.
got your thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna connect. I'm gonna finish with my piece from the thing.
Yeah,
but
okay,
I'm
good.
I don't know if I'm
Yeah, you're on.
But you
How much does that kit cost?
Connected with the community.
Yeah, cool.
All right.
Totally. All right, see.
How much
Okay.
does the kit cost that they're getting?
Probably the whole thing, I would guess, if it came with batteries, would be probably 25 grand, if I were to guess. But it all depends on what options you take. Faster chargers or bigger batteries or stuff like that. But I think the minimum would be, with batteries, would be 20 grand. Probably, if I were to guess. And it all depends on how you do it. You know, like what's kind of cool is when we go over to this Porsche, this thing's real sweet. It's hooked up. It's like a screen in the middle for options, you know, to keep track of stuff. He's got all the gauges working. He's going to go through the whole thing. We can't even start that yet. And then this one here, this red one, this actually went across the country to New York and back, and from Canada down to Tijuana. So a Mexican border. So this one's been proven. Yep. It's the podcast. We got to get you on this next time. Nah, don't worry. Don't worry. So yeah. So let's see. Let me see how these guys are doing. What do you think, Mark? You want to wait a little longer, or you want to do it?
No, we can. Yeah, we can talk. Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You ready to rock?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So let's sit down first for a second. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna sit and talk to you guys for a sec. All right.
Yeah. Okay. I get the high chair.
Okay. Okay. Let me just. Okay, can you guys hear me? Anybody there? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
All right, cool. Okay. All right. So there we go. All right. All right. So this is Mark Brems. He's kind of like an independent contractor here at EV West. He does like research and development. Comes up with like real good solutions that like the parts that fit in. So how you doing?
Doing okay. Yeah. It's
All
been
right.
a good day.
Nice. So we start with we have 2 questions that last the whole time. In this case, it's kind of different. It's like a tour. But let's start with the first question. Did you have shop class growing up?
Yes.
Okay. And what was that like? Do you have it in high school?
No, it was junior high school
Oh, really?
and actually grade school.
Okay.
So we were bumped. There was a whole program in Pennsylvania, in Bucks County, in Centennial School District, where they bumped us forward a grade. So, and on top of that, they got a bunch of money and built a school for us.
Oh, cool.
And the school had one of the sort of like the 3 planetariums existing in North America, or at least in the US. So we had a full-blown planetarium. The school was like, it was like Mickey Mouse ears. There were 2 big round ones with classrooms all the way around. The one had the planetarium, the other one had the library, and then the big one in the bottom. So you had like these 3 circles.
Wow.
Had the big auditorium and a gym, cafeteria.
Is that school still around?
No, they knocked it down.
What?
I don't know why. I don't know why. I drove
Okay.
by it. I went back and it's gone. But,
Oh, wow, that's weird.
Yeah, but shop class.
What'd you guys make?
Tie racks. It was wood.
Napkin holders.
Yeah. What else did I make? I made a bunch of shit for my mom. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Always. Yeah. That's the issue with the shop classes. They always make something like silly, instead of doing some engineering.
Well, it was good. It was good for us because in grade school we were just becoming familiar with the tools. So that was more it. It wasn't what you made. It was like what you can learn about the tools.
Okay.
About wood.
Right.
Teaching familiarity with materials is like, that's one of the most important things I've found in this work is having a broad base of experience with various materials. So when a problem comes up, you can sort of start thinking in different directions.
Nice. Now, did you have it in high school, or there was a track or something?
No, I didn't have any shop at all in high school.
Yeah, neither did I. Wow. Okay. So now
I could have, but I just didn't.
Oh, they had the class, but you didn't take it.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I mean, because they give you a menu of items and you pick what you want.
Okay. Now, did you take like a media class or anything like that? What was your elective? Anything special?
Electives. Well, in high school, because they jumped us a grade. When I was in 11th grade, I was taking senior classes. So by the time I made it into 12th grade, I just decided, well, I'll just take some classes that are really going to challenge me because I can. So I took trig, analytical geometry, calculus, physics. I took all that stuff. And then by noon or 1, by lunchtime, it was all independent study, which means me and my buddies all jumped in the car and went off to New Jersey to buy wine and drive around and get stoned and get lost.
Camden?
And get lost. Because drinking age is 18.
In New Jersey?
Drinking age is 18. So Was really? It isn't anymore?
Not for a while.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. Well, when I was in high school, 40 years ago.
I don't even remember when it was 18. I heard it was 18.
We crossed the bridge from New Hope into Lambertville, went to the first liquor store, got us some Jägermeister.
That's amazing.
We get stoned and then drive around and get lost until we found ourselves. Like, how did we get here? And then So yeah, but in the meantime, I was getting a fair education. I mean, my grades were pretty good. So
okay, we won't judge you. I was doing something similar in New York City. They barely carded, so we would just hop over to the city because the drinking age was 21 forever for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you're doing electric vehicles, but this is like your second career.
Right.
Well, now what did you do in your first career?
My first career, I got into multimedia, and that was back when nobody knew what that meant. What's multimedia? No idea.
Yeah.
So I was in the Marines. At 17, I joined the Marines, and then went to school on the GI Bill, and I went for video and film. Because when I was in the service, I was telecommunications maintenance. So I was telephone, teletype, repair, limited crypto, all that stuff. And they put me through basic electronics school at Twin Palms, and then finished at Norfolk with low-level keying and all that stuff, signal. So it was kind of like very technical. And then when I went to school after I got out, I always had an artistic side. So I figured, what's the perfect sort of mesh between art and technology? And I thought, well, film and video, obviously. So I went into film and video, and from there I went more into computer graphics, and ended up at CalArts, and then joined up with Voyager Company. I don't know if you remember Laserdiscs.
You guys know Laserdisc? Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I hooked up with Voyager Company and ended up doing Laserdisc production, because when I saw Laserdisc for the first time, somebody came to CalArts, visiting artists. They came and gave a presentation and showed the Vancouver disc, which was basically a time capsule of the city of Vancouver, archival stills, time-lapse video, just all kinds of really interesting stuff. The kind of stuff that you would put actually in a cornerstone and seal up for 100 years. But the one thing that caught my attention was that there was no videotape. There was no head. There was no tape passing over a head, wearing down the tape every time you played it, like a vinyl record. Every time you play it, it wears it down a little bit. They're using light to record and retrieve information without even touching the disc, and I thought that's the future.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, we ended up doing Laserdisc production, which basically meant adding commentary tracks to movies. So then we started, because it was we were known, the Criterion Collection was the flagship of Voyager Company. So I was doing Laserdisc production. I was putting archival stills, set design, storyboard comparison, to the point where we were recording the director watching his own movie. Went to David Bowie's studio in New York.
Oh wow!
And Nick Rogue showed up, and the two of them, we were doing the commentary track for Man Who Fell to Earth. Nick Rogue directed Man Who Fell to Earth. David Bowie was, of course, the star, and they hadn't seen each other for 10 years. I had the mics and everything all set up to record them, and we had a playback so they could watch it.
Right.
And for the first hour, they just caught up. And the producer's looking over at me. He's like, I'm like, yeah, we're going. So we caught their reminiscing, reminiscing for.
It's kind of like this podcast. We just had like catch up before we get started.
So yeah, that was my career.
Who was the other guy though? You said Rodri? No, the guy that showed up.
Nick Rowe.
Yeah, who's that? I don't even.
He's the director.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, we got. I mean, since we were the Rolls Royce of, Laserdisc, video file, that world, we got a lot of interest from top end directors that wanted to do like a commentary track for their movie.
Yeah.
So we ended up with the director's
director's cut.
Right. So we had the director's series, and we had Francis Ford Coppola and Barbra Streisand and all those people. So, but it started out really fun, and by the end of it, I just ended up programming discs in a fluorescent cubicle for 20 years.
Burnt out.
Started out fun. So in the meantime, I thought, well, I'm gonna convert a car. It's something I always wanted to do. I want to convert a car to electric, and I cut my teeth on VWs from when I could afford to buy a car.
But how did you have that idea to go into electrics? Like, why was that a thing? Because that's not for everybody. And why would you think that?
Because I'm a weirdo.
Okay, I can relate.
I just thought it'd be something cool to do.
Yeah, it is cool.
And since I came up through VWs, the next step for me would be the lowest level Porsche you could buy, which was the 914. The entire Porsche community looked down their nose at the 914, like the girly Porsche, or it was the poor man's Porsche.
Right.
POORCHE.
Yeah. Did you guys have VW? I know Bob Kelly probably had one.
I had a Rabbit. I didn't have the honor of having a true, Beetle, but I did have a Rabbit. And every time I lifted the hood, I loved the fact that it always said Audi on the heads. I felt like I was driving a good car.
Yeah.
Damien,
was awesome.
they got Beetles over in there in Australia.
Yeah, they're all over the place. People across the road have one of the VW van, an old orange one.
Yeah, he has an injury.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, he's actually just getting out of the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's harder for him to speak up, probably.
Can you hear me now?
But yeah, so someone across the road had one.
Yeah, my neighbour across the road has an orange VW van.
Yeah, man. It's kind of wild over here. It's basically a hot rod shop in that way. It's not really like a save the world shop, but we save the world anyway because you're doing
Getting rid of gas cars.
yeah, one by one. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, Michael would say it's not about the gasoline; it's about the speed.
Yeah. Exactly.
And yeah, when you really look at the figures, the torque and horsepower that comes out of an electric motor is, I mean, you know,
It's
you
crazy.
have stock Model S's like kicking ass on
drag strip
I was thinking,
Nuremberg.
yeah, kicking ass on like Bugattis.
Yeah. What about Nick? Nick, did you have a V-dub? Wait, you're muted. You're still muted. There you go.
There you
What?
No, I was a Subaru guy. I started out with a Subaru and then a Nissan truck. So
Oh, a
never
Subaru.
got the-
Okay, yeah.
never got the
A
bug.
Subi is a popular engine to put in a 914 or a Beetle.
Because
Really?
it fits horizontal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a popular conversion.
Yeah, it was
but-
a Subaru before they went to actually all-wheel drive. It was a two-wheel drive that you could switch into four-wheel drive. So 80s model Subaru.
Yeah. Did you ever see the Subaru Brat?
Oh yeah.
That was yeah,
The
that's a
pickup
good
truck.
one.
They revitalized it, and I think they have it now as a Outback. Not the Outback. Shoot, I can't even think it. Yeah, I saw one the other day.
The Baja. They call it a Baja
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
There you go.
We have a Brat here.
Do you?
Yeah,
Where?
that's sitting right out there.
Oh, no kidding.
That's a Brat. Yeah, Merritt, who is one of our marketing guys.
Oh, no kidding.
He's shop manager basically.
Because
Yeah.
I'm gonna
He
do.
wants to put a Tesla motor in it.
Oh my God. That's the crazy thing is instead of just the motor hooked up to the stock transmission, now you can pull all that out, no transmission, and you put the Tesla motor in there. Now you got some serious torque, you know. All right, so you transitioned through a hobby project.
Yeah. I wanted to convert a car to electric. I wanted a Porsche, and I'd never done a ground up restoration. So all three of those things all came together, and I started poking around on the internet and looking at blogs of other conversions, just trying to figure out how much it was going to cost, how easy or hard it would be to do. And at a certain point, I thought, I'm going to do this. So I bought it online, the 914. It was a roller. I forget where it came. Oh, it came from up near San Francisco on a flatbed, and we rolled it into my backyard, and the wife didn't even know it was there for a week. But I began just taking it apart, just tearing it apart completely, bagging, tagging, boxes, and had it soda blasted using baking soda, which sublimates the paint right off of the metal without touching the metal at all. There were still
That's
scratches
awesome.
scratches from body work that had been done that the baking soda didn't even touch it. So it doesn't abrade. And it doesn't heat the panels, so you don't have any warping. So it's a really good way to go, but I wouldn't recommend it because if you take it down to the metal, now you have to build it back up again because the metal is porous. And any good paint guy will say, why'd you do that? You just use the existing paint as the foundation, and you're going to get a much better paint job out of it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So you went step by step, and then you really did like a full-on restoration. Do you have to do a lot of body work to it?
Well, I didn't do it myself.
Okay.
I've done so much body work in my time. I'd just rather pay somebody to do it.
Yeah.
And there was a minor amount of body work to be done on it. Not that much. I got pretty lucky.
Okay. So should we well, we could get a preview about that, but we could probably talk about it when we walk over to the car. But how did you end up at EV West? How did you end up in this position?
Yeah, so I finished the car, and the whole point for me was that I would drive it. I didn't want to spend any more money on gasoline. You know, and I had a bit of sort of environmental consciousness awareness, and I wanted to do something that was going to contribute. So I figured this is a good way to do it, and it'd be fun to do. And it would be my daily driver, which it was. So for, you know, a good 10, 11 years since I converted it, it's been on the road every day.
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah. So anyway, I took it to a show in Huntington Beach, and EV West had a pop-up there, and they brought a couple of vehicles, and they took a look at it, and apparently it stuck in Michael Brems' mind. And a couple years later, it was actually,
wow, really?
Yeah, it was actually a year or two later. But see, I had an Instagram page, and I kept posting stuff, and he eventually called me up and said I lost one of my conversion techs, and we could really use somebody like you down here. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so took about, I didn't want to be an employee. My time, I realized my time is the most valuable thing to me. You can always get money, but you can't get your time back. So I decided I was going to be a contract. Well, I was going to, basically I'm an S corp, and my S corp contracts to EV West. So yeah, I've been here for 3 years now.
Oh wow, no kidding.
Yeah.
So all right, so why don't we tour the car?
Sure.
And then we got some more stories about, we went to Bonneville at one time. That was a good time, and we could take questions and whatnot. So
you didn't go to Bonneville the second time?
no.
I didn't go the second time.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously remiss.
Yeah, I know. And then the third time was this year, but they rained out.
Oh, there's been another time since then. Really? No. Well, they maybe closed it down because of COVID.
No. Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Anyway,
Okay.
Bonneville was hard work.
Yeah, that was a good time though.
It was. I'm glad we did it, but it was really hard work.
And it's all your fault.
Always.
Okay, so we're going to head over to the car now. Let me just mute over here.
You have enough juice?
Yeah, now I do.
Okay, good.
Okay, so
Damn.
Okay. Can you guys hear me on this phone?
Perfectly.
Okay, perfect. All right, let's roll.
All right, cool.
Okay. Whoops. Okay, so yeah, introduce us to the car.
Yeah, so the car was originally, it's a 74. It was originally a 1.8 4-cylinder, and it was originally Bahia red.
Mm-hmm.
And so we took it all the way down to metal inside and out. And now this is not a Porsche color. It's a very, very close to I think sunflower yellow.
Okay.
It's very close to an original Porsche color, but I didn't like those yellows.
Okay.
I wanted yellow.
Yeah.
This is Isuzu, actually.
Oh,
It's
okay.
called highway yellow,
Okay.
and I always get complimented on it.
Nice.
We have a drone.
Yeah, there's a drone flying around.
It's
A very fast drone, and there's a tour going on over there. Very busy place right now. Can you guys hear us okay?
Yeah. Oh, perfectly. You're good.
Oh, okay, good.
good. We
Okay.
just need to check.
Yeah, we just got to check because we're outside.
There's
Okay.
a license plate here.
All right. Oh, charge point. Oh, there, 914 EV. There you go.
Right.
Porsche 914 EV.
Right.
Very cool.
So my thing here was, stay there,
Okay.
was to keep all of the trunk space.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
This, in my mind, this really needed to be a driver,
Mm-hmm.
like a practical vehicle.
Oh,
So the entire rear trunk is stock.
oh, wow. No
A
kidding.
lot of people, when they convert a car, first thing they do is start looking for available space, and they'll fill up the trunk with batteries or whatever. And that was not really acceptable to me.
I agree with you.
Right. If you're gonna build a show car, maybe. If
Yeah.
you're gonna build a car for the track, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's gonna be a daily driver, and for me, that was the most important part. The whole point of it
Sorry.
was to transition to electric.
Yeah.
And do it in a practical way. So the whole entire rear trunk is open.
Mm-hmm.
All my batteries are in the motor bay. The electric motor is down below. So here's the inverter controller. Here's the DC positive and negative. And then here is the 3-phase AC out. And you see those cables go down underneath. The motor is right underneath there.
Right.
So I basically filled up, I used as much of the original motor bay space as I could. I think to good effect. Here's the cooling kit over here. Here's the reservoir. Here's the fans, and the pump is right there. So that is for the chill plate, which is under the inverter. So there's a,
Yeah, right there.
yeah, right here. There's a chill plate.
Got to keep it cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the rest
Oh.
of the pack,
Should we? Oh, yeah.
the rest of the pack is up front.
Okay. You guys seeing and hearing everything good?
Oh yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So basically you have 12 modules. These are prismatic cells. These are
Okay.
used by telecom, or they were at the time, at least 10 years ago, they were used by telecom for UPS backup for cell towers.
Oh, really?
And if you look right here, they're all numbered. This is one cell right here. And then it's that tall. So you can see the positive and negative terminals, and they're all strung together. There's 12 here up front, and then there's 12. You saw the motor bay in the back. There's 12 on either side of the motor. So I have total 36 for a 126 volt pack
Okay.
to run the AC50 motor, which is that Curtis controller is a 120 volt controller.
Right. Cool.
So there's an electric heater right here. And all I did basically was route the output of the heater to the cabin, to the existing air boxes left and right there. So I have defrost, which is great.
Oh, that's good.
And it's such a small cabin that it heats up real quick. So I've never had a problem with that. And then here's the charger right here.
Okay. How many kilowatt charger?
This is a 3.3K
Okay.
charger. And the charging port is right here.
Oh, cool.
So you can see
Slick.
when I go to charge, it's right under the license plate.
Super slick.
Yeah.
And then it's going to turn on.
Well, it's fully charged now. So
Oh, okay.
the charger actually turns itself off when it senses the pack voltage is where it should be. So
Right.
like I don't need to charge.
Yeah.
So what you heard there, the fan was a ventilation fan.
Oh, okay. And is this the DC to DC?
Yeah, the gray, that's a Zibon
Okay.
DC-DC converter.
So you need to keep your 12 volt charged up. And so there's this electronic alternator here as well.
That's a DC converter. It steps down the pack voltage. Pack voltage is anywhere from 100. When it's fully charged, you're at 126 volts. When it's fully depleted, you're at 100 volts. You don't want to go below 100 volts because then you start to damage the cells.
Mm-hmm.
Your pack is now going to be, you're in a dangerous
Yeah.
territory there. So anyway, this takes that high voltage range and converts it down to 12 volt because you have your legacy accessory system, all your circuits, your headlights, your horn,
Right.
radio, all that stuff has to still run off 12 volts.
Even this.
And on top of that, it keeps your battery charged. So you still have a 12 volt battery. And in fact, these are 4 headway cells right here.
Oh, okay.
So that's my 12 volt battery. There's 4 headway lithium ion cells right there.
Oh, headway is the tube looking ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I got you. There's like little tubes in here. Big batteries.
They just look like huge AA batteries.
Yeah. Bob, you wanted to say something?
I'm totally impressed.
Yeah.
That's good. Bob, this thing's cool, man. And the way he did it is super clean. You see, let me give Mark a compliment. You know, some of the issue with these conversions is that they're nice and everything, but what people do is they do it a little bit too like hippie-ish, or they kind of hack it together, or you know, and they kind of like just cut corners. But Mark does a really good job of making it clean and very functional and very stock. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. In some cases, like say for instance, I need to get these cables here.
Let me reverse the camera.
Into, you know, to string together these. I have a firewall right there, so you know I'm gonna have to here and there. I'm gonna have to drill a hole for cable pass-throughs. But other than that, I don't want to cut the car up. I don't want to molest it in any way.
Right.
And, you know, that's one thing I really appreciate about EV West is we have a very strong sort of a credo to keep the car as unmolested as possible, so that when you show up at a car show and some asshole starts to rail on you because you took a perfectly good Porsche and you irreversibly, and it's like, no. If you want to put it back,
yeah,
you can take all this stuff out. The car is unmolested as possible, and you can put it back to gasoline if you want, asshole.
Yeah, that's
if you want, you could. But you know
he's
what?
He's from the East Coast like me. That's the problem here.
These cars will never go back to gas.
Yeah,
they never will.
What's
First of all,
but they could.
They could, but they never will, because once the customer who's paid a lot of money to have this done gets his car and starts driving it, he falls in love with it immediately.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Secondly, the way the industry is going, it's going to be incredibly expensive or prohibitive to even want to attempt to put it back.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the direction everything is going.
Yeah. Bob, what were you going to say? Did you have something?
Are those
Well,
batteries
it's
lithium
just a
or
great.
like new ones?
I'm sorry, Damo.
Oh yeah,
Those,
Damien. What? Okay,
are those
Damien, go ahead.
batteries
What do you got?
lithiums or are those batteries lithium?
Yeah, lithium iron phosphate, right? Yeah, these are so from my understanding, they're less likely to set fire, but they have less energy density. You want more energy and less weight. So you're actually going to upgrade, right?
Yeah, but I'm going to stick with lithium ion.
Oh, okay.
Lithium ion batteries.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're a very stable chemistry, and the only way that you're really going to put yourself, your car, your batteries in danger is to overcharge them or over deplete them. And if you take a cell below the bottom floor that it's rated for,
Like the bottom voltage.
right, you could possibly create a thermal runaway. If one of the cells goes lower than all the others, and your cells are in series, that one cell could reverse.
Whoa.
And now you have two halves of the pack shorting out through that one cell.
Oh.
That it's a rare occurrence, because people normally like to take care of their batteries, and you depend on a battery management system, a BMS,
Well,
to prevent that from happening.
That's a good transition. We should go. Well, let's see what else other questions they had, but we should talk about battery management, and we can talk about the wires. Yo,
What's the name of the place that oh, you're online?
that's okay. What is it?
Where we had our meeting the other day.
Wait, remind me again. Oh my god.
Burgers, so little time.
Which meeting?
I wasn't there.
Which meeting?
EVLC meeting.
Oh, I can't remember. I have the worst memory. Tell me what.
What color were the walls?
Oh, sorry, guys. I can't remember. Sorry. Okay. Damien, did you have another question?
Oh, I've seen older conversions where they use lead acid batteries. That's why I was just wondering what those ones were. They didn't look like a new battery.
Oh, I
to
know.
see.
Now I know what you're talking about, but I don't know the name of that restaurant. It just popped in my head. That's a good spot. You guys should go there.
When these cars, well, first of all, let's go back to when I went online and started doing my research. There were a fair amount, several 914s that had been converted. And I think the reason why was twofold. One of them was that nobody gave a shit about 914s. You could pick them up for really, really cheap.
Oh, he asked about buying the cars?
They weren't considered a real Porsche. And this was before lithium ion batteries. The other reason was because there's a lot of space. As you can see, there's a lot of space up front and back. That's when they used to fill them up with lead acid batteries.
Oh, I gotcha.
So it was a popular platform for conversion because you could fill this whole front trunk, the whole back trunk, and the end and the motor bay with lead acid batteries. But a common system back then was 144 volt. So you're talking about 12 car batteries.
Huge.
So what, 70 pounds, 70, 80 pounds a piece? You've added like 3/4 of a ton to the weight of the car.
Oh, I added 1,000 to the Volkswagen Rabbit, the first car I did, and we had to upgrade the suspension, and you could feel it when you moved around.
Right.
Hey, nice meeting you guys.
And you guys really don't work on weekends?
So
So I gotta take Mondays off to come hang out.
Yeah, sorry. I'm distracted.
Okay, so yeah, lead acid is definitely not the way to go.
And you'd get about 40 miles range, and those batteries would start to degrade. So after a year or two of driving it, you're down to like 30 miles, 20 miles.
Yeah, so like for instance, over here, you can see he tucked it in real nice, right next to the motor, but then he still has all that space. I mean, this is actually a lot of space that you showed us before. It's pretty incredible.
And you can see all the space up front.
Yeah.
So, I want to go shopping. I want to go grocery shopping.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go on a weekend up the coast. There's room for bags.
Yeah.
Both in front and back.
Yeah.
So it's a practical car.
Right.
And, the more range you have, the more practical it is.
Right. Hey, this is Mark. Michael. This is Michael. Michael, come on in.
I was already in.
I know. Hey, you guys if you're watching this episode, you got to check the back episode with Michael Brems. He's the owner and founder of EV West, and he does a real good job, I think, with the community and everything. You're very inviting to everyone. So if people have questions or they want to see it for sure, I mean, you just finished the tour.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Right.
And then those are teachers, right?
Hemet School District.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
Hemet?
It's about an hour and a half up the road.
Oh,
They're
no
doing
kidding.
their first project. They're going to do a C10.
Wow.
And then they have a little Volkswagen Bug lined up. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah. They're all excited.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So we're going through this whole thing, and they got questions. So we got Damien's in Australia, and we got Nick in upstate New York, and we got
Cool.
and we got Bob.
Damien's not upside down.
I know, right? And we got Bob Kelly. Bob Kelly's.
That's perfect.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
Good people.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Bob Kelly does something cool. He restores old buildings because they have a moisture issue, and he figured out a system that ventilates it and saves the building.
Oh, wow.
Called Wickrite. So it's
Okay.
kind of like
They're not
Yeah.
old buildings. They're not old buildings.
Oh
All my
wow, even
clients
new
are
buildings.
buildings less than 25 years old.
I gotta go.
Okay, he's got to run. Okay,
Just so you
so
know.
oh good, wow, no kidding.
Well,
So
let's go in the cabin and
let's go in the cabin. All right, so we're gonna go inside the car now. Let me go to the other seat. Yeah. And
So you guys, how long do these batteries last?
now, what does that mean? You mean range, or do you mean how long until you have to change them?
Lifespan. Yeah, how long do you change them?
Well, my car's been on the road for 11 years now, and my pack capacity is now at about 30%. So when I first hit the road, I was getting about 70 miles of range out of these
Uh-huh.
prismatic cells. Now, batteries have gotten better and better over 10 years. Elon Musk has done a lot for that. Now I'm getting about 20 to 30 miles.
Uh-huh.
So it's just enough to get me to work and back. And then when I charge up, we can go to the beach as long as I don't go too far. If I replace when this car needs to have the batteries replaced, I'm going to put 5 Tesla modules. Each module is 25 volts. So 5 of those, I'm back up to 125 volts. So I don't have to change anything. I don't have to change the motor controller, because your pack voltage needs to match your motor and controller. And on top of that, your DC converter, you have to have the proper voltage spec in order to, convert down to 12 volts. On top of that, your charger. So I would have to change all the components if I were going to up my pack voltage. So I'm just going to keep it at 120 volts. But the beautiful thing is now, with the better Tesla modules and the better battery chemistry, I'm going to get 100 miles.
Wow. That's
right
cool.
off the bat. Yeah. So the answer would be about 10 years, 8 to 10 years.
Is there any way to like rejuvenate a battery? Like, is there a battery that's available that you can actually like replenish the chemical and then maintain it
No,
like an old?
it's not like lead acid where you can desulfate them. You can get a little bit more life out of them if you do that, but not with lithium.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good questions.
So what do you do? What do you do when they kind of wear out? Can you rejuvenate? Can you recycle? You replace them.
Oh yeah, they can be recycled. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, lithium is a rare earth element. There's also some other materials in the battery that can be recycled, copper. Anyway, yeah, ultimately, yeah, they can be recycled, but you can't reuse them. Sometimes people will actually take used up modules that no longer will drive a car, and they'll put them in a Powerwall,
Like a stationary application.
and you'll be able to squeeze even more out of them.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Bob.
I'm sorry. So I don't understand what wears out, because I'm just a wood butcher, when it comes to what wears out in the battery that makes it go bad. So does the lithium wear out? Is it what is it?
I don't actually know that.
The ability of the battery to hold to hold ions, because you're talking about an ion exchange internal to the battery. It loses its capacity to do that. Think of it like your pants. Your pants eventually wear out. You got to buy new pants.
I better stay in good shape.
I'll tell you what, Bob, if you could come up with a battery right instead of a wick right, you'd save a lot of batteries. I don't know if it's I mean, I'm sure someone's working on this.
All right, so let's look
cool.
at a couple.
Well, thanks, guys.
All right,
we're going to the battery management system.
We're gonna get into it now. All right, and by the way, it's this is a little further up, right?
Leave it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very much, you don't feel like you're in like a modern car. This is a classic car. It's got classic car smell. It's got an old steering wheel. It's got the old gauges. It's got, regular, all this stuff. Ooh, and the stick shift. You still have your 5-speed, and your clutch.
Clutch.
Yep. And so you're still kind of in classic car mode. You can obviously have an upgraded radio, but all your door, even your door is, all that stuff. Yeah, okay. And, old school stuff, like all the stuff about it is very much, and this pops off too, right?
Yeah, it goes in the trunk.
So you're in a classic car, which is super cool. Okay, what do you got for us?
All right, so under here is the battery management system.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
So this right here is the BMS. You can see the cooling fins on it.
But they don't know what a BMS is, so we got
It's a battery management system.
Yeah. Okay.
BMS stands for a battery management system.
Okay, well, we got to explain why do you need it and what it does. But when you're ready.
You can start with some good questions.
Okay, so a battery management system. Well, yeah. Do you guys know what this is?
No, I'm all brand new.
Okay, so the batteries have to be, the most important thing is the batteries having to be balanced. Okay, and so if some of the batteries are easily charged up and some of them are not coming up as fast, your total pack might reach the top on the charger, but you're actually not fully charged because you've got some batteries that are down. So what this battery management does is it will actually burn off some of the top ones to bring them down to the same level as the other, and then bring the whole thing back up together.
Huh.
Oh. I was talking to Michael about that.
So you have to have
totally
some
up
sort
in
of
the air.
balancing system.
Okay, so Johnny and I were talking about EVLC
That's part one.
versus.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Nothing.
That's so
noticeable
cool.
movement.
Yeah.
It's
Part
up to,
two.
like, Merritt and Eric. 'Cause it's a
Hold on, let me show you. This is Johnny.
So anyway, it's on the table.
Johnny's going to be on the show soon. And he's another a person that works at EV West, and he does really cool stuff. He has a Toyota Hilux. Hilux?
Yeah,
Hilux.
72 Hilux.
Hilux. And it's got a Tesla motor in it with an i3 battery pack. Same one that's in that car.
The motor's in my car right now because I'm taking it home.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
The Tesla drive unit. Yeah, wow.
Working in the car.
nice.
So he's putting a Tesla drive unit in an old pickup truck, which is going to be awesome. And that'll be a star. That's going to be a huge star, man. That'd be so cool. So, okay, so getting back to the battery management system, if you don't want to overcharge the batteries, you also don't want to undercharge them, and you need to balance them. You also don't, so those things are happening automatically through a system, and it has to use some ventilation and get rid of some heat. So that's why you see the fins.
Pretty good. Pretty
Cool.
good.
Okay, what did I miss?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. Okay, I got critiqued here. Hold on.
Yeah. So you don't want to over discharge the battery, and you don't want to overcharge the battery. And the main job of the BMS isn't necessarily to balance them.
Okay.
It does that kind of as a side operation, but the most important thing is that it monitors every cell in the pack.
Mhm.
So in this case, I've got a cell tap that comes up, which is a wire connected to the positive terminal of every single battery. So I've got 36 cell taps coming together into the battery management system so that it knows if any one cell is going over or under.
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, if that happens, it shuts down the charger. It says, I'm not going to charge. And then what happens once it disables the charger, then it takes that high cell and it begins to discharge it.
Mm.
So it brings the voltage on that one cell down. And when it comes down, back down into range again, then it restarts the charger and you can continue charging. And then also on the other end of the spectrum, if you're driving along and one of the cells happens to be sagging and to be over discharged, the BMS can also tell the controller to go into turtle mode.
Oh, cutback, basically, right?
Right. So that at least you can kind of crawl home without stressing out the pack. So that's pretty much.
It would be kind of like if your engine was going to overheat, so then it doesn't allow you full throttle.
Right.
It protects the engine so you don't kill it.
Right.
A gas engine, you see people on the side of the road with their radiator spewing out, and it's like, well, maybe you should have cut back a little bit. I guess people just go, or if the oil's low, it won't let you run the car, which they don't do. But on some lawnmowers, if the oil's low, you can't run the engine. So it makes sense. It's like a protection system. You kind of need that.
And it also manages the charge.
Mm-hmm.
So, it oversees the charge. The charger itself is what does the heavy lifting, and it also switches from constant current mode to constant voltage mode. So basically, this is a good metaphor to think of when you're charging a pack. You're pouring beer from a pitcher into a mug, and when you first start your pour, you're giving it the full pour. You're giving it as much as you possibly can. That's constant current. As you start getting to the top of the mug, you start to pull back a little bit, more and more and more. So what you're trying to do is to keep the level of the beer constant, rather than the flow of the beer into the mug constant. So you continue to draw back and draw back and draw back. Then there's the foam. So as the foam begins to melt,
Bob liked that one.
The level of the beer actually also begins to come up. So you draw back on the beer, on the pour, to just a trickle. So you get it to the very, very top with no foam. Because if you were to stop pouring the foam, the level of the foam would drop down, and now you haven't really charged to the top of the pack.
That's funny.
So that's a good metaphor for charging.
The part of your metaphor.
A metaphor for capacity is to think about a battery. And this might answer your question, Bob, about how does a battery wear out. So think of the battery, one cell, as a paint can. And you fill the paint can up with paint, and you use your brush, and you empty the paint can. But some of the paint has dried on the inside of the can. But you're like, I'm not going to worry about that. There's still plenty of room in there. Next time I paint, you fill it up again, you paint again, and now you have another dried layer. And those layers get thicker and thicker and thicker until finally you only have a small area inside that, because the paint on the walls is built up so much. You're gonna fill it with paint, and you're gonna say, oh, it's full. But you've only used a tenth of what it was originally capable of holding.
That's a really good analogy.
Peace.
See you guys.
Hey, Johnny, I'll see you later.
We need to keep pushing him. Continue to check in on him. Like, which cars are we taking? Which cars are we taking?
It was a side conversation, but yeah, there's always multiple projects going on out here.
To see my red car there? He's like, well, it's not up to me. We haven't really made any decisions.
Yeah.
Should we show him your the Tesla motor, or should we get?
Oh no, we're gonna. Show
okay,
him.
We got more stuff. Yeah. Otherwise, we would go over there and show you the Tesla motor.
No, I'm just gonna turn it on so they can see the screen.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
Nice.
You out?
So what's
right,
the
Johnny.
motor that's actually in that
Yeah,
car there?
I'm not coming in. I'm working on my red car. I was almost going to tell him that, and I didn't get to it.
They have all kinds of cars and projects going.
You can tell him.
That
so
van
cool.
is electric. Yeah.
All right, so here we go.
Okay, here we go. All right.
The big thing
Okay,
is like.
so I'm going to direct
Oh
you.
wait, Damien, what'd you say?
The big thing is to put Tesla motors and everything in now. What sort of a motor is in that car?
This car here is an AC50, right? But there's also a net gain motor, and then the So it's just basically a really big golf cart motor, like really big.
But I've had the car to 100 miles per hour. It cruises on the freeway at 70, 75, no problem. It climbs hills like it doesn't even break a sweat.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fun. The only limiting factor is range, but as battery technology gets better and better, that problem is being solved.
I'll tell you what, I've been driving a one of their conversions, the thing, and it's addictive. You really don't want to go back to gas once you get on this thing. It's so much fun. All right, let's look at the features. Let's go.
Okay, so I'm going to direct your attention to first. You saw the battery management system.
Yeah.
The battery management system here outputs a CAN signal, which is control area network. It's basically when you go to the shop, your technician plugs into the computer into the car. That is CAN. That's basically, and the port is called an OBD port. So that the BMS down here is now going to be sending information to this Android tablet. So when I turn the car on, here's
Try to get it.
yeah, there it is. There you go.
There you go.
Right. So this is now the tablet, and what I do is I turn on. Hang on a second here. I turn on my GPS, I turn on my Bluetooth, because that's how the BMS is sending information to the tablet, is via via Bluetooth. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And here's my EV gauges. So you can see right here, this is gonna, once it connects via Bluetooth, this is gonna go up. So at this point, this is kind of the safe margin that I've given myself. I basically programmed this gauge based on state of charge. So I charged all day today. You can see here state of charge says 94.5%. We don't really charge batteries fully to 100%. If you want to play it safe and get the longest life out of your batteries, you charge it to about 95%. Here is the amps that I'm drawing right now. Currently, I'm drawing about an amp, and that's basically the cooling kit for the controller. That's also the DC converter is drawing a little bit. You can see if I turn on the headlights.
Oh, wait, do the headlights again.
Or say, for instance, watch this. If I turn on the heater, you'll see there's an initial inrush. It went to about 30 amps. I'm running the heater now is taking about 10 amps or so. So this tells me that I'm drawing 10 amps from the battery pack. And then here you can see the pack voltage. Full pack voltage would be 126, but as I said, we don't really charge, at least not the prismatic cells, the cells I have. You don't charge to 100. And then my speedometer here is GPS. And and also you can see here, of the 36 cells, here's the high cell, 3.4 volts. And the low cell is 3.3 volts. So you can see they're, over 10 years, they've gotten a little bit sort of, because some of the cells deplete and lose their life earlier than others. Towards the end of its life, a pack will start to go out of balance, and there's really not a lot you can do about that.
Yeah.
A new pack, you know, it'll last for a good, at least these Tesla modules are probably going to last longer than these prismatic cells. They're probably, just because of the chemistry is so much more advanced. The manufacturing methods and all of that, the purity of the materials. So yeah, there you go.
Pretty cool.
We can drive a little bit.
Yeah, let me get off Wi-Fi and let's drive. You guys want to?
Let's see it.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so he's putting it in gear.
So I start in second. You don't really use first. First is just, I mean, if you're going to climb a very steep hill from a dead stop, then first gear makes sense. But you don't have to worry, like these gears, these stock gears were designed for the meaty part of the torque curve of a gas engine. You don't, an electric motor is entirely different. Your torque curve and that sweet spot is so broad that I can start in second or I can start out in third.
Give them Whoa. It's cooking. Guys, it's like effortless. We just cut across this whole parking lot like nothing.
And I've got my regen set pretty high, so I don't even feather my foot off the car slows down. Like you can hear it.
Wow. Yeah, we could explain regen. I mean, we're moving.
See, now I'm not even using the brake.
That's no brakes. Unbelievable. You know, it's kind of hard to describe what's happening. It's just that it has such control, because when you get off the pedal, it cuts back by it breaks the car by pulling power out of the motor and putting it in the battery. So it recharges the batteries instead of you putting your foot on a brake pedal, which then goes onto the pads.
It's exactly like motor braking.
Yeah.
But the compression of the gas motor that you're using to slow the car down when you say downshift and let out the clutch is that compression is kind of the same. If you want to think about it this way, in an electric motor, it's called regenerative braking. Is a motor is a reciprocal device. If you mechanically turn the motor, it generates electricity.
Mm-hmm.
If you put electricity into the motor, it spins. But if all by itself, but if you mechanically turn the motor, it generates electricity. So basically you're using the wheels and you're keeping it in gear to now drive the motor, and then it sends electricity back into the pack.
Huh. That's cool.
Not so much.
Yeah.
You get maybe on a normal drive, you get maybe 10 to 15% back. You didn't get all of it back, because then you're going to break the laws of thermodynamics.
Yeah, you're burning.
That's
something.
a no-no.
Yeah, you're using a lot of it. But if you're going down a big hill, it's really helpful. And all the corners. Yeah, all the corners are great because it's one pedal driving. So you back off like that, almost like you're in first gear, or maybe not that severe, but like it's second gear. It's almost like downshifting. It feels good. It's real nice control.
I was at the top of Canaan Dune Road, and it's about a 5-mile downhill. You end up at the coast, the Pacific Coast Highway, and I gained about 5% back in my state of charge.
Wow,
that was pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
For like 5 miles, and I gained charge back on my pack.
So you can get back up the hill.
Yeah.
No, we went to the beach.
Oh, okay.
And we had lunch.
Nice.
Cool. So that was pretty good. That's the full tour right there, right?
This is a super cool project.
Yeah, it's a lot of but also maybe what's probably missing from this is the packaging is, Mark spends a lot of time on making sure that all the details are taken care of and that it looks stock. And then they make parts. So let's say they come up with a solution that's really good for, let's say, the 914 owners, or let's say for the Volkswagen owners. They'll then try it out, revision, and then like product design, and then they'll actually offer that on the website. So now you buy the part, but you're only paying for the part, but the research and development has been vetted already. Mm-hmm. So it's really good. I mean, the parts are probably expensive, but it's actually, in reality, it's actually cheap relative to the amount of hours that all the staff here has put into making those parts available. So EV West is like a solution provider in a way. It's kind of like what Bob does, but for all these electric car parts. It's very similar, I would say. Efficiency and something that works, install is considered, all those things, right? What do you think, Bob? It's kind of similar.
The whole spectrum.
Yeah.
I appreciate the craftsmanship. So the thing that I saw when you first started presenting was that you saw the finished product, and you went to the finished product and you designed backwards to gain experience and then go forward again. I mean, that's how you envision, a successful project, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Well,
really cool.
one thing that's really important to me is to have a vision. And my vision for this car was that that I was going to put the wife in the passenger seat. She was going to put on her horn rim glasses. I was going to put on Nelson Riddle, Highway 66, and we were going to drive up the coast.
Nice.
To Oxnard or Ventura.
Yeah.
And when we finally did it, we looked at each other and I said, "It's happening." And
awesome.
with Frances at the EVLC.
Oh yeah.
Her vision is when she's done, she's surfboard on her electric 914.
Oh, cool.
And she's going to drive to the beach to surf. And I said,
cool.
Hold on to that vision, because that's your life preserver when the going gets tough and you get discouraged. Remember why you're doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And the vision is the emotional component, which actually fuels the whole endeavor. If you're not having fun and you're not pursuing your path,
yeah, she's maybe 15 years old and
13, I think.
13, Jesus, oh my God. And she's got a 914 project, and she's been following Mark the whole journey. So she's in the stage where she stripped the car down, and she's going to build it back up. I think she might come to the class on the 27th. That'd be pretty cool. So it's kind of cool that Mark's helping her. And my vision for the class is to help people like that, give them the fundamental tools you need to diagnostic. So you're like, so when you install something, you at least know what it does, or at least how to read what it's supposed to be doing. Everything from the voltmeter to the amps to the relay to the contactor, fuses. Why do you need them? What do they do? All that stuff.
Or if it's not working, you at least understand it's not working.
Yes, right. Like one time I remember I drove an electric car up a hill, and I had students in the car, and they said, and it quit right in the middle of the hill. And they said, "Oh, you ran out of batteries." I said, "No, something else happened." It's actually that the DC to DC wasn't charging the 12 volt, which then let the voltage drop and it let go of the main contactor.
Right.
So I knew right away. So almost like the movie Apollo 13.
Right.
I reduced my demand.
Right.
I started pulling fuses, and once I gained back enough amps, I was able to close that contactor and get us home.
Right.
So that's actually a pretty good movie. Apollo 13 teaches you about breaking it down, to the absolute elements, that you need. And if you didn't have the fundamentals,
So that's something to keep in mind, that there are certain parts of the EV system that still run off of 12 volts. It's not like, well, I have a huge battery pack now, I don't need to worry about the 12 volt part of it except to run my headlights and radio. But the parts of the EV system itself require 12 volts. And if your DC to DC converter is not working, now you're relying on the 12 volt battery itself. And if you run that 12 volt battery down, car doesn't go.
Yeah. And the same thing with the Tesla. They run all the OEMs. They run 12 volt and high volt. There's two different voltages in all your electric cars.
Yeah.
There's the pack voltage, or traction pack. So that's what's driving your wheels. And then you have your system. I guess it would be like, some people ask me to say, what is the analogy for? So it'd be like, I don't know, like you got a bull in a cage or a pen, and there's just a little pin that opens the gate. I don't know.
We had kind of have a joke around the shop. It's like, if a car isn't working, we say, "Oh, what is it? The 12 volt?" It's the 12 volt.
Oh,
we got it when we got out to Bonneville.
Oh yeah.
We went to Bonneville. Johnny, who you met earlier, pretty much single-handedly, with some help from Ian, built a land speed car. We took from scratch, and we put a Tesla motor in it, and we put a big battery pack in it. And that year we took the record for Class 2.
And it was 11-year record, right?
Yeah, we took the record. We went 230 miles an hour. It was like 229 something, 232.
Wow.
At any rate, at one point, we were having problems with the car, and discovered pretty quickly that it was the 12-volt system, because we weren't running a DC converter.
Oh, man.
So everything was running off the 12-volt, and that was by design, because you want to keep it as light as possible to break the land speed record. And the 12-volt battery was not holding a charge.
See, the 12-volt battery has a high delivery, it's called a high C rating, but its amp hours, the amount of time you have, the reservoir, is only like 7 on a small motorcycle battery. It's tiny. It's like 7 amp hours, nothing. So if you pull 7 amps, you have 1 hour. But if you pull 70 amps, you have like 1/10.
Divide by 7. Right?
Yeah, exactly. You have so much less time. So you turn everything on, you push the car to the start line, and you hit go on your go pedal, and nothing works. And then you're like, whoa, what happened? 12-volt died.
Right.
You know. So
wow.
Right. So in this car, I have a 12-volt battery, but I leave my DC converter on all the time. So even when the key is off, my DC converter is still charging my 12-volt battery up.
Nice.
If I turn on the headlights, I turn on my parking lights.
Oh,
eventually you'll hear the fan come on the DC converter.
So, all right. So this is pretty good. I think we covered a lot.
Yeah, we did.
You guys, maybe I could give them a little tour. And the kind of lights are off though. But I could also, we could end the recording here. The other thing you guys should consider is when you're looking for, like I always tell people, when you're looking for a conversion, if you were to do that, a lot of people want to reinvent the wheel. And I would say if you can buy the parts, you're way ahead, even if it's expensive, because everything you can't buy, you're going to have to make. And if you got to make it, that's research and development. So just add a 3 or maybe even a 10x cost to whatever you thought it was going to cost you.
Right. And time also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. If you really want to convert a car, the first one out of the gate should be one that has already been figured out for you. Just putting the parts together and figuring out how the whole system works is an education in its own. Starting from scratch and having to figure that all out yourself, if that's your cup of tea, then fine. But it's not going to be as well. It just depends on your orientation. If you think you can do better, more power to you.
Yeah, go for it.
It's not what I do.
Right. So you pick a platform that's already been figured out: a VW Beetle, Karmann Ghia, a VW Bus, a Porsche 911, Porsche 914. These are all really good candidates that have all been figured out for you. Although it's not going to be plug and play.
No.
Once you have this big pile of parts, you're looking. I have everything I need. Now you got to figure out how it all works.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, you're going to know 500% more than you started. If you pick something where you're going to have to figure it all out yourself, you may never finish because
that happens a lot.
It's too steep a climb.
The other thing I would say is, some people, one of the things they do is they'll say, oh, I have this dead car in my driveway. That would be great conversion because it's dead. And I say, no, if the shell of the car is worth less
than the cost of the
conversion, then don't do it.
Then
or like, let's say if you get, let's say if like an old an old car and the engine's dead and now the car has no value. Don't put 20 grand into that vehicle. Put 20 grand into a vehicle that either you care about or someone else does, because otherwise it's not worth it. You got to put it into something that the shell is worth a lot of money. Whereas like to a modern car, when the engine dies, that's pretty much it. It's disposable.
Right. Yeah, you want a car that already has a following. And the reason I picked the 914 because when I bought this car, I got it for $2,500.
Wow.
It was a roller, but the body was in really good shape. But I knew that a 1974 914 had some sort of intrinsic value, and it was worth putting the effort into. I mean, there's people out there they want to convert a Toyota Yaris. Like, why?
Yeah. Or like someone will say, then the opposite extreme, they'll say, I'm going to do a Land Rover. And I'm like, but it weighs so much and you're going to have to put 40 grand into it. You're going to make $100,000. You're going to turn this thing into, you're going to outprice what you paid for the car. And then there's so many Land Cruisers out there, or Land Rover, sorry. And you're going to spend so much because it's such a heavy car. And they're like, oh, I have to do it. If you feel compelled, go for it. But it's going to be double or triple what it normally costs to convert because of the weight. So you got to do something reasonable. I think you got to do a Volkswagen or something reasonable. Maybe an old MG. That would be pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm into all those old British cars, the European sport. They're light, they're nimble, they're meant to corner, and you're not dragging around a lot of weight that you don't need. You're never going to use.
Yeah.
So that's why the 914, because it doesn't have a back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Room for two. Room for bags, groceries, whatever.
Yeah.
Very light.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, all right. So this is cool.
No
So
point in
I'll give you
converting
guys a
an
quick
old
tour
van.
around the shop, and then that's basically it.
Yeah, I hate to do this, guys, but I'm gonna have to sign off.
Oh, no problem.
It's really
Well,
been
I'm telling
enlightening.
you.
It's great to meet you guys. It's great to meet you and see the project you're doing. Ron, it's great, and guys.
Yeah, it was good talking to you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
All right, Bob.
It's great to it's great to meet another craftsman.
Oh well, thank you. I'm honored.
Cool.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll connect you guys on Instagram. Bob does great stuff with buildings. Very interesting scenario.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks a lot, Bob. And
cool, man.
All right.
I still want to learn how to weld.
Oh, I got you. We're gonna do it. Maybe we'll do something in the fall. I actually extended my trip out here. That's why I haven't. Sorry I didn't get back to you. I don't know.
No. I respect that totally. I've got the 220 in my garage in my shop.
Oh, we're doing it, man. We're doing it.
We'll do it. Okay.
All right. Cool.
All right.
Okay.
Man.
See you, Bob.
Take care now.
Yep. So Damian and Nick, I'll give you guys a quick little tour, and then we'll sign off. Okay. All right. Sounds good. It's kind of like the Fiero. It's super low. No.
You're the only one here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You'll have to show me. Oh, you just close the back doors and walk
you have
out?
to set the alarm. You have to do all that.
No, I haven't done it. All right, so I'm gonna do this quick. You're gonna walk out.
All right. I get okay.
Yeah. You're gonna rush or no?
I get 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay, so check this out. Yeah. Oh, perfect. The lights are on. All right. So this was the Land Speed car. Actually, they're starting to take it apart, I guess. But it's a super long car, and it's got a Tesla Drive unit right here. So that's what we were kind of talking about. And then these are the chute cans, and the battery went here. And then this was where all the telemetrics and driver sat, and the steering column and whatnot. But this is the kind of stuff they'll do. There's also a pretty cool project over here. You guys ever see one of these? You recognize that one?
The
From
DeLorean.
85, is it?
What?
It's not from 1985, is it?
Yeah, it sure is.
DeLorean.
And yeah, I don't know where the light switch is. Let's see. I think I'll find it. I don't know where it is anyway. So yeah, there's a DeLorean in there. There's also a Corvette. There's this thing. This is wild. I don't know what they're doing with this thing. This is a Ghia right here. And then we got this one. This was a Volkswagen bus. And they're also doing a 2002 Beamer. And there's a Volkswagen Baja Bug. And then there's another 914 over here. So pretty cool stuff, you know, that they get to work on. All right, well, that's pretty much it. I actually got to run, so I'm going to shut it all down. Good seeing everybody. And we'll see you guys again next week.
All right.
Alrighty.
Okay, see you guys later.
Yeah. Bye-bye.